It has happened in Vegas. The Cup's going to stay in Vegas. And for the first time, the Golden Knights are Stanley Cup champions.
All right, welcome back to the, I believe this is the 7th installment of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. We're joined again by Dean, of course, and this is my fiance, Bree. So this is her first time on the show, obviously, and we're happy to have her here today.
Woohoo!
It's so weird to hear you introduce her as fiance.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I heard that, I'm like, wait, you guys like just started dating?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adding up every year.
Yeah.
Another year.
That's how
Were
time
you even
works.
into hockey when you guys met?
Not all that much, really. Definitely got more into it because that was when we first met. I think that was when you were just starting to get into it as well, or you were a little bit into it, but not that far, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I think at that point, because this was me going into my senior year is when we started dating, and so at that point I'd already seen a couple of seasons of Vegas hockey, or I saw one full season, I guess, because 18-19 season, I guess, would be.
The real question is, how many jerseys did you own at that point?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it was not.
3?
Yeah, it was like, let's see. So I had the James Neal jersey. I'm trying to think if I had
One.
I'm trying to think if I had any others.
I remember that one hung up in your room.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
that one hung up. I don't think I had any others when we met.
Justin had more than you.
Yeah, you did.
I had more than you.
Mm-hmm.
You had more than me. Justin had more than me. Owen, I guess, was tied with me at the time. Although he has that, or I think he had that Shoresy one too.
Mm.
Or not Shoresy.
Goon, the Goon
Yeah,
one.
Goon. Yeah, I've definitely blossomed, at least in my opinion. And Bree doesn't have. Well, she has one jersey that I bought for her, but it doesn't really fit. So I guesstimated the size, and that was a mistake. So, but you've expressed wanting to get your own.
Another jersey, a men's one. The women's ones just aren't not up to par, it seems.
Yeah,
They're cheaper.
They are cheaper, yes, but
and sometimes you can get them on sale, but not always, because they just don't make nearly as many of them. So it's just it's definitely not catered towards women, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll have to get you. I know when I was buying my Cup champion merch, you were talking about getting an Aiden Hill jersey, but you ended up settling on the hoodie instead, the player hoodie, which I think was a much more
affordable
financial choice. Yeah, which those are nice too, and
yeah.
I thought about getting one of those, but I bought so many other things that I decided not to.
Have you done a haul of that stuff yet?
You mean like tell everybody what I have?
Yeah, or show it off or whatever.
I haven't done like a formal video, but I've worn, actually in the jersey collection video that went live today, I was wearing one of my Cup champion shirts. So I have 2 of those. I've got the Martinez jersey you can see back there. I've got a sweater. I've got, you got the newspaper back there, which I guess sort of counts. It's not clothing.
I'd say it does.
And then I've got a banner, which is at my office.
And the license plate.
Oh,
order.
yeah, and my license plate cover as well.
Oh, nice.
Inspired by...
I should go through my Bruins merch collection at some point.
Do you... you don't have any championship merch, do you?
No. I got the Avs championship shirt last year.
Really?
Yeah.
And you
It has all the signatures on the back.
And you went to the parade, too.
I did go to the parade. Saw Nico Sturm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And what's her name? His girlfriend. Also played for Clarkson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna
didn't
look this
know.
up now, so I'll have to edit in the name later.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I didn't know he was dating somebody from Clarkson. I mean, I guess that makes sense though.
Taylor Turnquist.
Turnquist. I feel like I don't recognize that name, but
Clarkson alum and professional hockey player.
that's cool.
Oh, wait, she plays for the Pride?
Oh, Boston Pride.
What? Yeah, didn't
Well,
know
probably
that.
not anymore because of
Right.
the PWHL is going
True.
to be starting up, which is
Oh yeah,
pretty
so there were
cool.
two leagues. I didn't look too much into this. So what do you know like what the two acronyms were and which league is gone and which one's like expanding or whatever?
So I think they're I think they're both gone. There was the PWHA, the Professional Women's Hockey Association,
NWHL.
and then I think that was still around. Yeah, the
There's
NWHL.
one league where like if you get a contract, they're like, yeah, sorry, if you had like a 5-year contract for whatever, it's just like it's nope, you're not getting paid. Sorry, like it's that was like part of the contract was like if the league goes away, the contract is like void.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like that kind of sucks.
yeah. So at first, like when it was sort of being announced that there was going to be this new like unified league forming, a lot of people were like not sure how good it was going to be for the women because it's like yeah, it's good to have one unified league, but then like all of these women are going to potentially be losing their jobs and they're going to be fighting for roster spots.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I think if they do things right, like in terms of marketing and getting things off the ground running in a positive way, and not necessarily focus immediately on making money, because there's no way that they're gonna make money in like the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Like if they have a good foundation and they market it well, I think it could be a net positive for women's hockey players.
And I think having one league is obviously the way to do it. Like you don't want two leagues competing. So I mean, even though it sucks now for the people that like you lost your contract, you might not get re-signed because there's more competition with more people. But just having one to build off of and have everyone focus on that is going to help long term.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, there's gonna start with six teams. Um, so we'll see how that goes. I think it's Boston, Minnesota, New York area. They said they were not sure which, like if it's gonna be in the city or it's gonna be New Jersey or like even Connecticut. They were talking, but just a general New York team, and then I think it was Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, were the other three.
Oh, so half U.S., half Canada.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so it's pretty much all Northeast and then
Yeah.
Minnesota. So, and they haven't even announced like the team names or the logos or anything like that. So that's to come. I think that the draft is in middle of September, maybe the 16th or 18th or something like that. And then there's free agency a little bit before that. You get like a certain number of free agents you can sign before the draft happens, and then we'll see what happens there. It's like 15 rounds, but it's only
But the
six.
league is
It's only six
starting this
teams.
year.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna
Okay.
start in January of 2024.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know we went to some women's Clarkson games back when we were attending, which were fun, and unfortunately they were not nearly as well attended as the men's games, despite being a lot better comparatively in their respective league, which is a bummer. But they've got to rely on the speed and the skill a lot more, and it's still entertaining to watch, in my opinion. So hopefully it does well. I'd like to support it, but it's tough. Like if they sort of price people out like really quick. Like if in order to watch the games, you have to pay like $50 or $80 or something for a streaming package. It's like, okay, you're not gonna get anybody to watch the games.
I think you just gotta start free and then get people to watch it and like get a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta develop a product that people are gonna want to be interested in, and then go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could try to get fancy and like change the rules and do like ex NFL kind of thing, but you don't want that either. Like it's tricky how you want to market something like that. I mean, because you want it the same as the NHL, but you also want to have it different so that people seek that out for other reasons than just the National Hockey League. But I don't know like the answer of what you do. It's kind of a tricky situation.
Yeah, and it sounds like the NHL is going to be supporting the league in some capacity. Like they're already like reposting some stuff on their Twitter accounts for the PWHL, and I don't know if it's going to necessarily be like financial support or anything like that, but they're sort of in like a supervisory role, I guess they're calling it. So
But even
we'll
if
see
you
how that
get
goes.
like after one of the big market TNT games, you just have this like a women's game broadcast directly after, like people will stick around or whatever. Or even if you like a stadium series game, you have it like two different times and you have them play like before or after. So people are already there watching and you just kind of like use the same audience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it'll be definitely a question of like what their target audience is. Like if it's gonna be just NHL fans is who they want, or if they're gonna market it towards like younger girls who are trying to get into
Mm.
the sport, or just people who are already fans of women's hockey, or what. So it'll be because I think if they just try to market it exactly to NHL fans, it's gonna be tough for them to get a lot of people because like they're already watching the best league. So it's like
The other
you're not really gonna pull them away from watching a lot of NHL games.
The other issue with most NHL fans is they're a fan of one team. Like, I mean, unlike you, because you joined later and you picked a like a team that was just starting, so you're kind of a fan of the whole league. But most people grow up with one team, so like even with playoff numbers, once your team's out of the playoffs, you kind of just stop watching hockey. Like a lot of people, so it would be hard for anyone to if they're already a fan of a team to become a fan of another team, even if it's not an NHL team, just like a women's team or whatever. So. I guess it could be tough marketing to that kind of crowd.
Bree, do you think you would prefer, or not necessarily prefer, but would you like want to see more like women's hockey and stuff? Because I mean, you haven't really watched much of any, women's hockey. Like I don't know if you went to any of the Clarkson games or anything like that.
I don't think I went to any Clarkson games. I mean, yeah, it would definitely be nice to see like a women's league start up and just kind of, I don't know, normalize women having a professional league in hockey. Obviously, the WNBA has been successful, so there's, opportunity for this to work out. But I think it would be nice and it could encourage younger girls who are interested in hockey but haven't had that role model to look up to necessarily. They could start working on that, make it maybe educational or something, and reach out to schools even just to get younger crowds interested.
That's another thing. Like, what would make it a successful women's hockey league? Because even like the WNBA, you could probably argue that they're underpaid. Like, whatever
Yeah.
percent they get paid versus the NBA is a tiny
Oh
percentage.
yeah.
And I mean, I assume they like only have that job. Like, I know, for example, lacrosse, professional lacrosse, people have like second jobs because it's so little paying. So I guess maybe it would be successful if you could have a career in the sport and not have to like work another job and like after your career you retire and have money set. I guess that would be like a good metric for success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I think that's sort of been the issue for a lot of women's hockey players, like for a long time, is that they don't really have the financial support to solely play hockey. Like they're taking off days of work to go to tournaments, or using sick days, and yeah, it's pretty rare that a woman hockey player is supported full time by her salary. And I mean, there are some great women's hockey players that have like sponsorship deals, I'm sure, and stuff like that.
Mm.
But generally, yeah, their salaries are nowhere near the same level. So we'll see if that changes with the new league. Hopefully.
I just looked it up. At the start of the 2023 season, the average salary for the WNBA was 113,000.
Oh,
So after,
I mean,
I
compared to
mean,
NBA.
that's a good salary for a year, but if you're only in the league for a good thing would be like 20 years if you're probably tops, and I don't think that's enough to stop when you're 40 and be good for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, that's the NBA where salaries in general are higher and there's more marketing than hockey. So I can't imagine the WNHL would have salaries even close to that. So
Yeah.
I mean, worth a shot to try, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we see that with the NHL too, compared to the other big four sports, is the salaries are nowhere near the same, and that's for the men's league. So I think it's gonna be difficult to at least make the money work in the first couple of years. Like hopefully, the focus is just paying the players and getting enough interest in the league and in women's hockey that they can make it sustainable in the future. Like just merch sales and getting people to actually go to the games, because you want to make it. If you're watching a game on TV or streaming it or whatever, and they're playing in basically an empty arena, like you're not gonna want to watch. Like you want it to be exciting, and you wanna have fans there. Like I'm sure in the bubble and in like the 2020-2021 season, when there were like no people in the stands for most of the year, it was a bit jarring to watch. So
It affects the players too.
definitely, yeah, it's not the same energy, and same with like World Juniors too. Is like sometimes like they're playing those early round games, and it's like there's maybe like 500 people in like a gigantic arena. So
Speaking of World Juniors, did you see the projected USA lineup for like the 2025? It wasn't World Juniors. It was like the World Cup of Hockey or
like
whatever.
IIHF, I think, something like that. I did see something about that. I don't know. I don't
was
recall all of the
stacked.
players that were on there, but yeah, USA is like definitely starting to build themselves up, especially goaltender wise. Like Canada with goalies lately has been pretty much like third string, at least compared to like Russia and US and maybe a couple other nationalities.
Yeah, it's the projected 2025 Team USA roster for the World Cup of Hockey, I believe it is. Um, yeah, do you want me to read you the roster?
Oh yeah.
So first line, Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk. Then Jason
Three.
Robertson, Jack Hughes, Alex DeBrincat, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel is your third line center, Clayton Keller. Fourth line, Jake Gensel, Tage Thompson, Cole Caulfield.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And your defense is Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, Jacob Slavin, Charlie McAvoy, Zach Werenski, John Carlson. And your goalies are Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah, that is a stacked roster, no doubt. I mean, like, I'm sure Canada is still like would still be super strong. Also,
Who would they have for a goalie? Their goalies haven't like
yeah, it would probably be like Jari, or I think maybe Thompson. Honestly, Logan Thompson could be in the running. Like, they really don't have that many options. Like, when you think about like the top goalies right now, you got Sorokin, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. That's three Russian goaltenders. Saros, and then Hellebuck's American.
Olmark. You forgot
Ottinger.
Olmark.
Yep, Allmark. Swayman, we already mentioned. So yeah, Demko is American also. Although he hasn't been at the same level as he was a couple of years ago, but yeah, the maybe Dustin Wolf, I think, is Canadian. He's coming up, or is he American? I don't know. I guess we could find out. What do you think, Bree? Put a bet.
Jake Ottinger is
I'm
American.
gonna say Canadian.
Dustin Wolf.
What about Fleury? He's Canadian.
He is. Yep, Canadian.
Yes.
Unless that's California.
Gilroy? No, that's gotta be Canadian.
Wait, it says USA.
What? Darn.
Yeah, he's American too. So
R.C. Kemper.
Kemper, yeah, that's a good pick. I'd probably put Kemper over
Carter Hart.
Yeah, Carter Hart. He's okay.
Aaron Jones.
Oh, that's a steep drop off. Oh,
Ew, Bennington. And Allen, they're both Canadian.
Benner, yeah. Yeah, like, none of these names are inspiring nearly as much confidence as the 3 goalies you listed for Team USA.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, that's a super solid D-core. That's a super solid four forward lines. Like, those guys could compete with anybody. I think maybe Russia would still be really good too, obviously. But yeah, I think hockey fans in general have been wanting to see best on best for a long time, and it's unfortunate that they weren't able to go to the Olympics the last go around. But I think that's in the conversation now. I think I've heard some stuff about that.
It was last time too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not holding my breath. But it would be nice. There were some like ex NHL players that were there at the last one, or I think Parisi played because he didn't have a contract, and some other guys. But
Yager was probably there.
yeah, probably for Czechia, he's still kicking.
Bree, what's with the Penguin shirt?
The only other hockey merchandise I have is sweatshirts, and it would be way too hot in here. So this was the free sweater. Oh my gosh, the free shirt we got when we went and saw the Penguins.
Nice. So was that a playoff game then?
No.
They gave free shirts to every fan.
It was just like however many. They just had like huge stacks near one of the escalators going up to our seats, and they were just handing them to us. So Bree and I each got one. Mine doesn't fit me at all. Pretty much, it's like more like a dress shirt. They just probably gave away like the smaller sizes at the beginning, and then it's like, all right, this is what we got left. So I was like, sure, what the heck, I'll take it for like a pajama shirt or something. I could have worn mine actually if I wanted to. But yeah, that was for our Pittsburgh Columbus trip.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I think the only thing free I've gotten from hockey games is like Bruins playoff game. They give everyone like a towel, like the classic to wave around.
Yeah.
And then I think also a Manchester Monarchs game. They gave people backpacks. These like crappy backpacks where the zipper broke after like the first time using it or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Too cheap, whatever.
That's what you get for free.
Yeah.
I got a Jack Hughes bobblehead.
Oh yeah.
From a Devils game that Justin and I went to. That's at my office too. Otherwise, I'd show it to you. But I got that for free in a game, which was pretty cool. And I was like, wow! And like out of all the players, like Hughes is a pretty good one to get too. So
you had like a bunch of players and they just gave them out randomly.
No, that was the one that they picked for that day. So we just happened to be going on Jack Hughes bobblehead day. I'm sure there were like.
So there's a bobblehead of like a different player every night.
Probably something like that, yeah. It is in his jersey though, which is kind of a bummer, but it's okay. They were wearing.
I still have my poster from the Bruins game we went to with Brandon Carlo.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you picking that up when we went up the escalator.
Yeah.
They had those there.
I think I went to another game and it was Kevin Miller. I don't know if I still have that one.
I always liked him.
Yeah.
Kevin with an A, though. That's kind of weird.
Kevin with an A?
Kevan.
Interesting.
I've never met anybody else. Well, I've never met him, but I've never met anybody who spells it like that. But he didn't. He didn't choose. I'd have to take it up with his parents.
Right.
If you guys were.
You can email me at professional email here.
Yeah, there you go.
So what other merch do you have, Bree? You said you have hoodies?
I have a couple hoodies. I have a Vegas hoodie. I got the Hill hoodie for the Stanley Cup. And then I have a Blue Jackets sweater, which I was ironically wearing a Senators jersey when I bought it at the Columbus Stadium. So.
Nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like going back and forth on like if she was gonna get it, and she's like, "Man, I really like that sweater." It's like I'm not Blue Jackets fan. It's like, oh man, it looks nice, and was probably overpriced, but
Of course.
it looks really good. And
Columbus was like one of the stadiums that I really enjoyed that we got to go to. I think you've kind of talked about it briefly on here before, but it was just like such a nice environment. So it's a little memory to take from there.
Big fan of the cannon.
Yeah,
The
that
cannon
was
was
a
cool.
lot.
the cannon was cool. We got to see it like at the end, or like I gotta at least look at it or
Right.
take a picture or something in front of it before we leave. So that was
Nice.
cool. And yeah, I really like the arena. Like they have, like the concourses are really wide. There's like
They
tons
had
of
good
room.
food.
The food was
Honestly.
awesome. We
Yeah,
got
man.
this.
What were the prices like? You know how much like a beer cost there?
I would say normal like stadium
Yeah,
prices.
like it wasn't
$20.
anything different. It was probably like maybe in the 14, 15 range, I'd guess. And then we got some like barbecue that was really
Oh
good.
yeah.
What was it? Was like a
Wasn't it like a loaded fry or something?
yeah. We got a loaded
I
fry, and then
remember.
there was like some roll or something. I don't know. Whatever it was like really good. It was like pulled pork, I think it was, and they had like bacon on a stick or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. They had a bunch of just like
Wow.
unique food options that I hadn't seen at like any other arenas. So
Don't they have that
definitely
like bug mascot too?
Stinger?
Oh yeah.
That's his name.
Stinger, yeah, that's like from the like the original 2003 year. Yeah, like they had Stinger like stuff, and that was like their logo that they used for a little bit.
Which I was very confused about when we were
Yeah,
there. I
it's
was like,
definitely
what the heck?
they've definitely
That's
changed
not
their
blue
branding
packet.
a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the mascots don't make sense. Like, what even
Oh,
is
yeah.
Gritty?
I mean, the Knights one doesn't
Yeah.
make sense either.
Yeah, Chance, the
You're
Gila
called
monster.
the Knights.
I know,
Come on.
and
Chance, we love Chance.
and Bowie is like kind of
Bowie.
creepy too.
I love Bowie.
We'll throw him up here. I
He's
don't.
one of my favorite.
He is. I don't know. When they announced him, I was like, oh,
Which team is that?
that's
I
Seattle's.
don't know if I'm familiar.
That's Seattle's mascot.
Oh, I have had to have seen him then.
Bowie Kraken.
I don't know why. We should start doing share screen instead of having it. Like,
Oh
it's
my
already up
gosh.
on
Yeah,
there.
we could have done that.
That looks like something from the Trolls movie.
Yeah, it's a troll doll. But you know, the mascots are usually for the kids. So if the kids like them, that's all that really matters.
They should make mascots for the adults too.
Adult
They did.
mascots.
His name's Gritty.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
He like I don't even know how he does it. Like he like moves his hips in like such a weird way.
So we got it's like the
Philly
like
fanatic.
hula hoop bar
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, exactly. Boom.
yeah, and the
Great
googly
job.
eyes are a nice
Freaking
touch.
cartoon character. And I think there's a couple. Like I think, or maybe it's just the Rangers that doesn't have a mascot, or there's maybe like a couple
There's a
teams
few.
that don't have one, which is like, sure, whatever. I don't really care, but it's like kind of interesting.
I mean, same with like, ice girls or whatever the proper name is. Like most teams do for the like double crew.
Oh, yeah. Some of them don't have them. You mean?
Yeah, like it's funny the range. Like I think Dallas is like everyone in like short shorts and whatever, and then so I think even Boston I think just has like a bunch of random people in like sweatpants and like just the vast range of like
Yeah.
how showy. Like Vegas obviously has
Right,
a very showy ice crew, and other people are like I'm just doing my job. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, and like Vegas has like the cheerleaders too in the stands, which is like I don't think any other team has those, which is it's definitely different, but you know at least they're like trying to get some energy in there, and they've got the drummers with the light up sunglasses and
Oh, yeah.
stuff, so they got some fun ambiance stuff going.
Where would you like to go? Where would you like to go next, Brendan?
Yeah, we haven't really segued into anything, but let's just go into.
I had one good
something else.
segue. I forget what I segued. Oh, the women's hockey. I forget what I said, but it was like, oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
perfect.
Oh yeah, that was very good.
Segways are hard.
Seamless.
Yes.
Let's talk about ESPN because we just
Oh boy.
talked about how the the broadcast schedule just got announced, and just discuss a little bit about how we feel about ESPN. They're coming into their third full season back as the main broadcaster for the National Hockey League, and especially you, Dean, as somebody who's watched the league for longer and we're more exposed to NBC's broadcasting and stuff. Like, how does it compare?
So I guess the first year I liked the new things they tried, but obviously they had like technical difficulties, and somehow they still have that like the second year.
Yeah.
So that's annoying where they'll have random glitches or whatever. But the things I have liked are the like close up camera views. I mean, I know this isn't new, but like for power plays they do behind the goalie view, which I've always liked. But I know they did it's similar to like the whatever you call it in football, like the fly cam or whatever on the line. They kind of had that, which I liked. And then also just like the small things where they have the power play counter on the ice instead of up on the score and up on the scoreboard. So like I don't need to look into the corner of my screen. It's just like in the play. And,
yeah, that's nice.
As far as like intermission, I can't really comment because I never watched the intermission.
Yeah.
I watch, I guess, highlights of like the TNT guys and like Biz and whatever when they do dumb stuff and it goes viral. But other than that, I mean, the commentary's been fine. I still don't think there's any need for like the between the benches guy like ever, even NBC. And then same with ESPN does the thing where they have like a referee on call. And so, like when there's a review, they're like, "What do you think, professional referee?" And he's like, "I don't know. It could go either way." It's like, thanks, thanks for that.
Don Koharski.
Yeah.
Coho.
I don't know if I ever told you. So my dad used to play like in a men's hockey league. He played with Don Koharski's brother, and his brother refs, I didn't play with him. He used to work with him at the airport.
Oh, okay.
But his brother refed AHL games for the Manchester Monarchs, so he used to get to go to free games there sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
cool. It's funny how they both ended up reffing.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah. Definitely the technical difficulties. That it seems like they still haven't figured some stuff out. It seems like audio is like constantly like an issue where they'll just like have really quiet audio in one area, or they'll like pick up something really loud in another part, which is very annoying. I'm sure I've commented on it before about like, oh my god, this is so annoying. But yeah, I do like having the power play camera behind the net, doing that, like staying on that for a while can be cool, especially when like a goal actually goes in during one of those. So
stressful.
Yeah.
A camera angle.
And I don't know if they did it last year, but I think the first year they did something. I can't remember what it was called. Maybe I'll find it later, but they did something where they basically just had the commentators stop talking for like a minute or like two or whatever.
Yeah, it was like sounds from the ice or whatever.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like
I like that too. That was cool.
That was cool. I think that was cool if they at least like tried that and just like to get you to really appreciate because when the commentary's going on, sometimes you're not really appreciating exactly what the guys are doing on ice, and it's like you get to focus just on that. Like you can hear the intricacies of their movement, and sometimes you hear them say something that they're not supposed to say on TV, which is always fun. Although you always get that at some point, no matter what, especially with the between the benches mic down there.
Yeah, that reminds me of one of the glitches. Well, this is more if you like stream the games online, where they would like go to commercial, but it would just like switch like an overhead camera of the rink, and you could like hear just the crowd and whatnot. And like, I don't think I'm supposed to be seeing this right now.
Yeah, right.
But like in essence, sometimes you'd hear like people talking like in the announcer booth and during commercial, like I feel like I'm like listening to something I shouldn't be. And it's weird because like I don't remember any like technical issues until COVID happened, and then obviously streaming, like the announcers would watch a stream of it because they couldn't travel. So like away games, they'd be like broadcasting from the booth wherever and like watching the game. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes sense why there's issues. And then COVID, like, no, it was no longer a thing, and people were back in buildings, and like there's still all these issues. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. And I think it was easier in general to watch the games with before ESPN. Like for the most part, I mean ESPN Plus is pretty good, but obviously they still have like the regional blackouts, which are a pain, especially for somebody who lives in an area where there are a lot of teams blacked out. Like if the Rangers, the Sabres, the Devils, the Islanders are any of those games are going on, I can't watch any of those like on ESPN Plus, which is a pain. Like I don't think they have NHL TV anymore. They might have something like a new thing that's similar, but like through the NHL where you could watch the games. But it's annoying having to deal with the blackouts and just there's a couple other like minor things like that where it's just annoying. Like especially because when the playoffs started last year, the playoff games weren't on ESPN Plus anymore. They were only on regular ESPN on the network. So if you have the subscription, you can't watch. So you have to have like a cable subscription, which is like, like these are the games that you want to watch the most, obviously. Like you don't really, I mean, the regular season games are great. Obviously, you don't want to watch, like you don't watch the league just for the playoffs. At least I don't. I'm sure there are some people who do, but there's so many great storylines for the regular season too. I'm getting off topic here, but yeah, I so far I think the experience is not at the same level as NBC as far as like consistency.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm willing to let them still try new things and like see
Sure.
what happens. And I remember they tried the puck tracking stuff too, and then the players felt like the pucks were different even, and so they're like, okay, we'll stop that.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's been like obviously the digital ads are a huge pain in the ass.
Oh, I forgot. Well,
The
I
digital
forgot
board
about that.
ads, those are terrible. Which I don't think is an ESPN thing. It's just a NHL thing that it just doesn't work, and it causes weird glitches, and it gets you out of the game. It's like
Yeah.
such
I
a
mean,
pain.
I think if they were stationary, it'd be a lot better. It's like I forget the one ad where it's basically a big puck that goes across the whole
Yeah.
board,
yeah.
and I'm like, this is just
It's
so
distracting.
distracting. Why,
Yeah.
like, stationary would be one thing, and just switch them every stoppage or whatever. Just flash to the next one, or even if it's every 30 seconds and it's just a quick change, that'd be fine. But like animated things and actual pucks on the ad,
Yeah, that's a mistake.
that
Like
was an oversight, or maybe they just got paid enough money where they're like, sure, do whatever you want.
yeah. But they keep trying to find, little ways to cram more ad space in. Like they even got like the ads that you see on like the glass when they like zoom out or whatever, and
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah, start with the ads like right in the blue line on either side, then on the glass, and then now the boards.
yeah, and um the two corners and the trapezoid are behind next to the trapezoid also, or no, that's not.
Well, there's like
is that college only?
yeah, and then some
Maybe not.
arenas have like the physical ones behind the benches or whatever too, like the
Yeah.
scrolling ones. And, yeah,
Yeah, which
it's funny if you look at like old
Kinda neat.
photos of hockey, like the Bobby Orr famous picture, for example, where it's like the border's all white, the glass is like this high,
yeah.
like so different. Everyone's just wearing like business clothes.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting to see that how like I think it was like the 90s approximately is when a lot of people actually started wearing jerseys and things to the games, because before that, yeah, like it just wasn't popular to wear jerseys or merchandise like that. And then like I know some rap stars started wearing jerseys in like music videos, and just other pop icons started wearing them. It's like, okay, yeah, like this is pretty cool to show that it's like more like fashion than just like wearing a uniform. So it's you definitely see a lot more people wearing jerseys at the games nowadays, and it's all sorts of different eras and stuff too, which is cool. Like you get some guy who's like 65, 70s wearing his old Wendell Clark jersey or whatever, and it's cool to get that different variety, especially with the Fanatics deal coming up the following season. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people not buying the new round of jerseys unless they really come out of the gate with something really nice. But I'm sure I've talked about it at length before, how I am not looking forward to that.
So apparently the fans, like you said, started wearing, or it started to become popular in the mid 1990s, because apparently the NHL's marketing efforts were like a big contribution to that. But teams started selling jerseys in the 80s, and then the NHL standardized jerseys for the 89-90 season. And then I didn't know what year this happened, but I guess it was '03 that the NHL changed the jersey scheme so that the home teams wore dark jerseys. I know a lot of older fans, like white used to be the home jersey, and a lot of older fans like the whites better than the dark jerseys.
Yeah, that was a thing, where your home team would wear the white and then the away team would wear the darks, which I know some people still want that. I think I'm against it, just because you want to see your team, like when you're at a home game, wearing their colors, like wearing their...
Just makes sense.
Yeah, but like one argument I've heard for it was like if you can only really go to like one arena, like if you're only living near like one area where it makes sense to go, like if you go to a bunch of games there, you kind of get to see like all of the away teams like home jerseys, kind of in a way, like, or their color jerseys, which is, it would be kind of cool. But I feel like that's not like a scenario where it's happening large enough or in big enough quantities where it makes sense to cater towards that. And I just think having the home threads be the darks just makes the most sense in my opinion.
I agree. I guess it's probably just like a nostalgia thing for fans that grew up with it the other way around.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a factor, and like I'm sure, 20 years down the road, I'm probably going to be partial to the Adidas style of jerseys, like how you like the Reeboks. I mean, you like the Adidas too, but that's just how everybody's hardwired, more or less.
Mm-hmm. It was a simpler time.
Yeah, right. When they didn't have ads on the jerseys.
Yeah, or the helmets.
Yeah, or the helmets. Yeah, what the heck's next? I don't even want to know, man.
More ads on the jerseys. I forget. Did you hear this? This was like when Jersey Stark first got added. You could like go to the pro shop and like get the ads added to your jersey.
Yeah. Get the ad, like, ooh, you want to get the milk?
It's just like what they wear on the ice.
Ad. Yeah, which some people, that's what they want. They want to have the exact on-ice authentic jersey, just like the players wore.
Well, so I guess question for you then. Would you customize a jersey with a player's name on a jersey style that they never wore?
I think generally I'm against that. But I have seen some people who like, have like the Ducks reverse retro with like Solani or like some like legendary player in the franchise, like there's been like Lemieux's with the Robo Penguin one from this past season and stuff like that, which especially if they wore something that was inspired by or inspired the newest style, like Lemieux did wear the original Robo Penguin, so it sort of makes sense to have like a modern Lemieux with that, similar with the first reverse retro, the white word mark, like they wore something like that back in the day, just a regular word mark, the black one. But I don't know. I think generally it's like a bit of a jersey foul, but it's really whatever you want to do. It's your jersey. Like, if you want to cut up a home and away and split it down the middle, I think it's awful, but it's your choice.
If you want to have a Natchez jersey, you can go ahead.
That is a really clever jersey. I don't know if you've seen this, Bree, but so the Canes, they currently wear away jersey that has Canes as the word mark down the middle, and so they have a player called Marty Natchez Necas. So if you rework the letters, you can spell it. So somebody had they redid like one of the Made in Canada jerseys, so it says Natchez down the
cool.
front, and then Canes on the back. So that was pretty cool. And I think they ended up doing that with the most recent reverse retro also, because that was inspired by the new away jersey, which it's not really retro, it's from 2019, but that's what they went with. That one was such a mistake in my opinion, the Canes reverse retro from last year. The red Canes jersey, I think they could have had some better choices, but whatever. Whatever, I don't want to.
Once you're up there with the big wigs, you let them know.
Yeah, I've got some choices. I've thought about like designing, like making my own designs, but I'm just not skilled in that way as far as like Photoshop, and I don't want to pay
start
for
somewhere.
like tools. But yeah, I could probably do it with like colored pencils or something.
Yeah.
Just to get the ideas out. Yeah.
You could do that and then commission someone to make it digital.
Yeah, I probably could. Because, yeah, I don't know if you've seen Post to Post does, like, reviews jersey concepts on YouTube. Like, people submit him, like, templates, and then he'll, like, review them. So it's cool to see some people do stuff like that. Similar to, like,
I like when fans do that sort of, like, artsy thing. I don't know if you saw, this was a while ago, they did, like, an AI generated the mascot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool, and then I think they did like a logo one too, like based on the name, or some other similar things like that, which is pretty cool. Different uses of AI. Like, I'm not always the biggest fan, but if it's just for like a fun little project like that, like that's okay. But when they start just making random shitty songs and
what do you mean?
Yeah. They're not good.
You mean you don't want to listen to the SpongeBob sing Freebird?
Yeah. Some of those, although it's pretty impressive.
Some of those go hard.
Some of it's impressive, like how much they do actually sound like the voice actor. It's like, holy crap.
I think I saw you when Mr. Krabs won once or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Oh, there was a good one of it was a Linkin Park song, and it was Mr. Krabs and Plankton.
A little
And
duet.
it was really good.
One of them's like Mike Shinoda, and one of them
one
is
is Chester.
Bennington, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's stupid, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I thought I had a segue, but no, it's gone.
One of my favorite things, the hockey podcast I listened to, they had someone who's not on the show anymore, but his whole like stick was that when he segued into like ads, he did like the worst segues ever. Like he's just never good at them, so he's like completely just change the subject and would bring up whatever, and
Just a non sequitur.
Really funny, yeah. Like speaking about hockey, and then just like say something completely unrelated.
Yeah. You want the new deodorant from Gillette?
Yeah.
It's like we were.
There's always the ads like
we weren't talking about that at all.
What was that company? The one that sells like male grooming, whatever.
Oh, Manscaped.
Manscaped. It's like, how do you transition to Manscaped?
Yeah. It's like we were talking about how players have luscious hair, and if you want to trim your other hair, Manscaped. If you want to reach out to the Bread Loves Hockey podcast, we can definitely do you well.
Yeah, we're not sponsored right now.
Yeah,
This is
I don't know.
not a sponsored.
I don't know how that works. Do they reach out to you? Like,
Yeah.
do they have like a person that just like listens to podcasts all day? Like this one, they need to advertise Manscaped.
They probably like see buzz on like social media. Like if people keep reposting like somebody's show or YouTube channel or something, they're like, scoop that one up. Make sure that they're appropriate for our brand, and then if they're good to go.
I guess that's kind of an investment too. You're like, this podcast is going far.
Yeah, if you
lock them up early.
Yeah, if you get like a good deal when they don't have any revenue coming in at first, it's like, all right, I think we got something here for a minimal amount of money. We could get a lot out of these
I
guys.
mean, hey, for $1, I'll say Manscaped ad. I don't care.
yeah. We'll do anything for money. No, we won't. We won't sell out the integrity of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast.
Not yet.
Sponsored by ramen noodles and Powerade and just like as many brands as I can think of. Just
It's like
the title gets so long that you forget what the beginning of it was.
That's how the NHL games start now. It's like brought to you by, and then they go on a list of like Verizon Wireless, and you list like 10 different.
Yeah. I feel like I think I've said this before, but when I watch like especially the NESN broadcasts of the Bruins games, like it seems like they have way more like sponsors than like a bunch of the other broadcasts for like the local broadcasts.
And like the first goal is like, this goal was brought to you by Audi. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like great.
Ford F-150 Final 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Even the Clarkson games had stuff like that, like the Price Chopper power play goal or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Hey, but you remember them. It clearly worked.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it didn't make me go to Price Chopper, but if you'd never heard of Price Chopper before, now you know. They're a grocery store. So go buy your grocery store.
Oh, and then they have the Taco Bell Take.
Oh, yeah.
It has like a fact.
The Taco Bell Take. Live Moss. Yeah. I don't even know if they use Live Moss anymore, do they?
They just have the bell noise.
Yeah, everybody knows the bell.
Yeah.
Any other brands we can talk about?
I mean, for Taco Bell could just give us food, honestly.
Yeah, just have like a little taco break in the middle of the episode where there's just a couple minutes at dead air.
Taco talk.
We're just sitting there and eating. Yeah. It's like, oh, do we have any players that name rhymes with taco or burrito? Or I don't think so. Speaking of names, I actually haven't mentioned this. How about that?
Segue.
I haven't mentioned this on the podcast about how I got my nickname Bread. Like, my name isn't actually Bread.
What?
Yeah, sorry. Bree, this is the first time Bree's hearing about it, but it's true.
I'm shocked.
My name's Brendan. Bread is a bit of a stretch. I mean, you got the core letters in there,
Hang on,
but
bruh.
That's pretty good. But I wasn't a nickname that I came up with myself. It was
You hated it.
Yeah, it was gifted to me. So we were at Clarkson, Dean and I, and meeting up with some guys who were playing intramural basketball with some guys on Dean's floor. A couple of guys from the middle of nowhere in New York, kind of in the boonies sort of area, and so one of them they we were introducing ourselves like, oh yeah, my name's Josh, and I said, my name's Brendan, and so he thought one of them thought my name was Brent, and then Nate thought my name was Brent. And then so when he called me Brent, Josh thought that he was saying bread. So he just started calling me that because that's what he thought that they were saying. So then it was like, what did you just say? He's like, yeah, bread. That's what you're called, right? And it's like, so it was like, yep.
I thought Josh called you Brend, like Brend, short for Brendan.
Oh,
and then Justin just said it sounds like bread and just started calling you bread.
I think he immediately heard it and adopted it. It was like, yeah, that's stuck. So it's not too bad.
Good job, Justin.
Obviously I've adopted it for the show here. But Dean actually doesn't really call me Bread.
Yeah, I know.
Cuz
Not big on it depends, I guess.
Like I know when it first started happening where everybody was calling me, you were kind of like, do you really like that nickname?
Well,
and
yeah, because we were roommates, and you're like, I don't like being called Bread. I'm like, I won't call you Bread.
I was like, it's okay. Like, I prefer my name, but if I'll respond to it if that's what you say. So it's one syllable. I guess you save a little bit of time there if you really want. If you gotta get to me quick.
Every millisecond counts.
Yeah. I just wasted a couple right there. Bree, you go ahead.
Me?
Bree gets to pick
With
the
a
next
segue?
topic.
Yeah.
They're all just hockey ones now.
Yeah, you know all of these things.
I don't know any of these things besides Bree's hockey journey.
How do you feel about fighting in hockey in general?
How do I feel about fighting?
Yeah.
I love when they fight.
Really?
I just think I don't know. It's like always over-exaggerated and seems unnecessary, which is fantastic. It's just like they don't have to do it, but they do.
Would you want it to change in any way? Either more fighting, less fighting, longer penalties, suspensions?
I feel like I don't have a strong opinion about that. Like, I wouldn't say more fighting because then that takes away from the game. And then if players start getting kicked out of the game, then it's kind of like, oh, well, now we're just losing the whole point of hockey is the game. Penalties, I don't really know a lot about penalties to say because I know like there's 5-minute penalties and that's the longest they go.
Fine for fighting.
And then you just get kicked out after that pretty much.
Misconducts and stuff too, yeah.
Yeah. Penalties they're good enough, I guess. So, not super strong feelings on it, but I do like to see them fight.
Is there any way fighting could change to make you want to watch more hockey?
Oh, gosh. Weapons? No, I'm just kidding. That would be
Take
so
your
bad.
skates off. Let's go.
That would be so dangerous.
Like
No, I don't
Happy
think
Gilmore.
so. I mean, I like watching hockey as it is. I mean, I definitely prefer live hockey, as does everyone, I feel. But, no, I enjoy watching it when I do, which is not often, but...
Sometimes there were some times last season where you were like, yeah, like because you asked if I wanted to watch the game in my room or if I was going to watch it in the living room on the big TV, and you're like,
yeah.
I kind of like if you throw it on the TV, that way I can like have it on and watch. So
yeah,
I mean it's fun.
Yeah,
We love it here.
And we both root for Vegas typically, which both is good and bad because of the time zone difference, of course, because their games typically start at 10:30 over here.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of stinks, and I usually go to bed at like 9:30, so...
You've been staying up later, though.
I have, so maybe this new season comes around, I'll be able to stay up and watch part of the games. I'm not going to say the whole game, because that's pretty late.
East Coast games for sure.
Yeah. Could watch some Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus or any of the New York teams or anything like that.
Well, I guess technically you're a fan of Buffalo, right? That would be like your team if it wasn't Vegas.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I feel like they're almost my third team because I talk about Columbus more than I talk about Buffalo. But, obviously I still see it all over my social media and stuff when the season comes around. And I got to go to live games when I was younger, which was fun. That was when Ryan Miller was playing. I know he was pretty good back in the day, maybe.
They just retired his jersey number.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Last season.
So, and they had their announcer also just passed away, unfortunately, which was unfortunate.
Rest in peace. 51 years calling the Buffalo Sabres, the only play-by-play guy to do it.
Oh, really?
He stayed so humble because he even said, like, someone asked him, like, how do you feel about being the voice of Buffalo? He's like, I'm not the voice of Buffalo. I forget the guy's name. The person before him, he's like, that's the voice of Buffalo, like, of the Sabres.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah. So it was, but we've been to a couple of Buffalo games. Not recently.
Well, yeah, we went to a Sabres game, I think in 2019, I want to say, and then we went to a Bills game.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has been a while. And that's when they played Vegas, actually, which was fun. Vegas did lose, unfortunately, but...
The Sabres game, not the Bills game.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think I had to clarify, but, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer. But, that... I've already talked about how many Vegas games I've seen and how many that they've lost.
It's the curse.
All but the first one. So, I'd like to get another W under my belt. Even just, like, any game that I watch, the team that I'm cheering for, please. Like, I was talking with Zane about going to a Capitals game this year.
Oh, nice.
Love to see them get a win. And Sam, who's in our group chat, who's Owen's friend, who he mentioned he went to the Caps game and they sat in Vitek Vanacek's wife's seats. He was talking about how he got partial season tickets for Capitals games this year. So maybe we'll meet up with him. I think we were talking about that game against Chicago, so that would be kind of cool. Because I've never met him.
Me either.
But he was also part of the hat tricks last year. He was the newest addition to the hat trick challenge. We've got we had 5 last year. Justin could have technically done it, but he never submitted any.
This year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. With him, he's gonna be away for most of the year, doing he's hiking the Appalachian Trail. Actually, I don't know if he mentioned that.
Did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he won't be watching much of anything.
I don't think he's going to be too disappointed.
No,
about
but
that.
he especially with the Blues not being. I guess we're just talking about Justin now, but I guess with the Blues not being as competitive last year. Obviously, they missed the playoffs. It's tougher to watch the games when they're not doing so well. So
when your team sucks.
Yeah. Dean's not salty about the cup final
Not at all.
Although I feel like that's not your most painful Bruins loss though, like that you've watched, you would say, or is it? Because I know you talked about, well, at least you hated watching the Senators beat the Bruins the year they went.
That was earlier in the playoffs
finals.
And I mean, so the difference between 2013 and 2019 was 2013 the Blackhawks were just clearly the best team.
Yeah.
2019, I feel like we should have won. So that's the difference. Like when you think you should have won, and then this year it's like sure you have high expectations, but again losing Game 7 in overtime in the first round is like sure it hurts, but like
not the same as Game 7 at home to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's part of it. Unfortunately, I got my pasta shirt on. I was rooting for Boston too. I remember I watched Game 6 with Justin and our buddy from Clarkson, Chandler, who's a Devils fan. We were out at one of the bars and we were watching the game, and I was rooting for Boston, and they ended up winning that one. And Justin was obviously disappointed because they could have won the cup that night, and I was like, it's all right. Like Game 7 is more fun if they win that one. He's like, well, no, because they would have won at home, which is always more fun. Like I was happy that Vegas won at home and got the gold jerseys and the and all the photos, which I'm sure made people upset that they ruined the photos with the awful gold jerseys. Although they did have the scarves over them, which I was like, ugh, why would they do that? But whatever. Still, it's a small thing to gripe about when your team wins the Stanley Cup.
Be grateful for what you have.
Yeah. Bruins were wearing their home or their away jerseys when they won in 2011, Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you guys didn't cause as many riots as we did.
Yeah. Poor Vancouver. And they, I think most people thought that they were the better team that year too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, talking about ones that you think you should have won.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest pill to swallow for Vancouver fans, I'm sure.
Yeah.
3 cup finals, 3 losses. Hey. I don't know if you can hear.
I can.
Sure you probably could. Hey, buddy.
I have another question for Bree.
Yeah.
Which NHL arena or just NHL location in general do you want to go to next?
Ooh, next.
Whether it's just for the arena or just like, I want to go to California.
Well, we always say we want to go to. This is a we, I guess, but I want to go to Seattle pretty bad. And then I haven't been to the Vegas one yet, so that would be nice. But like Seattle, I've always wanted to go to Seattle, so that would be great.
And they've got a really cool arena there too. Climate Pledge looks really state of the art, and they've done a lot of stuff with sustainability. So plus, I think Seattle's just a cool. Hey, buddy, just a cool.
I see Eddie's tail.
Cool place in general. So, that one would be an awesome one to go to, and I'm sure if we go, we'll do a Vancouver Seattle bundle.
Yeah.
Since we're all the way over there.
I think that was one of the weekends or whatever I found. I started looking at like trips. Forget now what I sent in the group chat,
yeah.
but there were like a couple options.
I know. We were talking about doing an Alberta trip, like fly into Montana or something, and then we all drive up to Alberta, do something like that.
Have you guys been to Canada before, just in general?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Like
I
Niagara
basically
Falls?
grew up in Canada. So.
well, we went to a couple of Senators games
Right.
together.
I guess other than like
I've been
to the east.
We just went to
Canadians.
Montreal
Yeah,
for their
we just
game.
went to Montreal last
Oh, yeah.
season, which was pretty cool. And that one was actually a pretty easy drive for us because it was basically just a straight
Straight north.
shot up the Northway for pretty much the whole time. It connects right up at the border into another one, and then you got to take a couple extra roads onto the bridge, and then that's pretty much it. So that one was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I still gotta get to Toronto, which is one of the next closest ones for us. And I've heard Toronto is like a pretty cool city just in general to check out. So maybe I'll dedicate a little bit of time to that one.
You haven't done Detroit yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
We could do those two together.
Yeah, I think last season we were talking about doing that before it
Right.
sort of fell apart because
Yeah.
some people weren't going to be able to make it work. But that one
And
would be
the
a good
tickets
one.
in Toronto are like $200.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we would do it where, like, if we did it later in the season when Detroit's probably not going to be in the playoff mix anymore, then at least we can save some money on the Detroit tickets and then get like halfway decent or nosebleed Leafs tickets, and then just be there at the game.
Listening from
That's
the
what we did for
outside of the
Vegas.
stadium.
Like, we're already paying $150. We might as well pay another like 50 to get twice as good seats or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
We had some pretty good seats.
Yeah, those were nice.
Have you ever had any lower bowl seats before, Dean?
Back when my mom was paying, we went
Yes.
to the first round playoff game, Bruins game against the Capitals, and we were like second row.
Dang.
Second row. That beats me. I had sixth row through at Philly, which was really cool.
Nice. And then another time, Christmas break, I guess this was sophomore year of college. Again, not me paying. We had like they're like club seats. They were like padded and they were right under the broadcast cameras.
Oh yeah.
And like they'll come and like take your order for food and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah, you don't have to get up for the whole time unless you gotta go to the bathroom. It's like, oh, this is the way to live. Like you don't understand how good some people got it until you get a little taste.
I was looking last year for Bruins playoffs. You can like get a box for I forget what it was. It was like 2,000 or 3,000, but for 20 people, and it comes with like beer and wine and seltzers and snacks and stuff. I'm like, that's not a bad deal if you have 20 friends.
Yeah, if
Right.
you know enough people willing to pay like $100 or 150 or whatever the math works out to, there would be cool. I would probably be in for something like that. I'd have
I
to
need
find a
18
couple
more people, Brendan. Let's get on it.
I need a couple more friends.
If you're watching this and want to go watch a hockey game in a box, message, DM, what's your Instagram? Your
That's
podcast Instagram?
at Bread Hockey, because podcast
Twitter.
was one letter too short. Oh, perfect.
Right.
Or not short. It was too long. They didn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have it any longer. I was like, oh my god. Like I could shorten it by one letter, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like have it PODCST or something like that instead of with the A. But I was like, no, let's just do Bread Hockey. That's good enough. You get the gist of it. Especially if like the brand ever grows outside of just podcasts. Like if it's like
There you go. Thinking big.
yeah, sure.
Planning ahead.
Why not? I mean, no harm really.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You got that
keep
trademarked yet?
watching. Yeah, I've got it trademarked. I've got it registered. I've got it patented and
Copyright.
copyrighted too. Yeah. Our logo is trademark. Justin was
Going
like,
back to the whole thing of not having any Photoshop skill or whatever.
yeah, I didn't make that,
That was me.
but
I downloaded
it's very
GIMP,
fun.
which is like the free
GIMP,
Photoshop
yeah.
version.
I
And I
have
was like, I don't know how to use this.
I have
I started with
Paint-
Microsoft
Paint.net.
Paint. I'm like, I can't do this in Paint. It's
Yeah.
not working.
Yeah, I made the screen for the last episode that was audio only. I made that one in like Paint.net, which is also free. It's basically like a similar program, but even that, like, which was very rudimentary, like, took me way longer than like it should have, just to like get the logos in there and like size the right way. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just not gifted in this way. I'm sure if I put more effort into it, I would get better. But
You should use. You could use Canva too.
what's that?
I talk about that one all the time.
Canva?
Yeah, it's free. I mean, there's obviously premium features, but it's like very user friendly. I was just using it before I came up here.
Oh.
I'll show you it.
So Bree's our new artistic
designer.
editor.
Welcome aboard
I'm
to the
hearing you're
Grid
gonna-
Hockey team.
I have done that before for a podcast actually. So
Oh yeah,
that
that's
was
true.
one of my internships.
There we go.
New internship, unpaid of course.
Wait a second. My rates are actually pretty high right now.
Well, I'm actually getting commission. You can do the same thing as me. I'm making bank right now.
Me too.
Actually, I'm still giving Brendan money because I'm still his only Twitch subscriber.
You're still subscribed?
I am.
Oh,
You
nice.
should go live. I want to see what number I'm on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, when are you gonna go live now?
yeah. Maybe I
Okay.
could now that I have better internet. I might
Brad
be able
Loves
to hand
Hockey
it.
Podcast live.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Do a live taping video
Ooh.
or episode with
do that.
with chat reactions. Although if nobody tunes in, it might not be that interesting. But
And then it's just a regular podcast.
yeah, then it would just be like having an extra guest, basically, but in chat form.
There you go.
Maybe we could do that later down the line.
And then it would automatically save the VOD too. So, I mean, I guess OBS isn't very hard to use. It's one button.
Yeah, start recording or start streaming. But yeah, it's fun. You haven't been streaming either. I know you used to stream like a little while back, but
I think I've streamed like 3 times.
yeah,
I streamed from the dorm when I was playing NHL, and
Yeah.
Owen would talk.
when you can do it just like right through the Xbox, which that's a pretty cool feature that they have. I'm sure PlayStation has something like that too.
That's how Ryan's doing it.
Oh yeah.
My friend's doing it through Xbox every so often.
I didn't like how only your audio would come up, so it would sound like you're talking to yourself if you were in party chat or whatever. Like you couldn't record other people.
Oh, that's true. I think that might be a premium feature on Twitch or something.
That's annoying.
So that might be an issue if you try to do it. Oh no, I think you can have one guest.
Well, if I did it on my computer, it wouldn't matter.
Oh.
Well, if you did it on well, I guess that kind of defeats the point, but like you could do it on the Acrella one because you're verified or whatever.
Affiliate, yeah.
That's the one.
Yep. We'd have to. Well, I guess if it was a VOD, we wouldn't have to worry about ads popping up in the middle of it. But that would be pretty funny, especially since we just talked about all the ads today.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how that works. Some streamers will be like, "All right, quick ad," and then they'll like have an ad show up, so maybe you can control it a little.
Yeah, they're like manually playing them.
Yeah, I watch a streamer that does like ad breaks. And so she'll just like stop streaming. Well, not stop, but like she'll walk away.
Go to
and
the
then
bathroom or
ad will-
whatever,
yeah.
and play the
It
ads.
has like a little message pop up in chat.
I don't know how that works because if you're subscribed, you don't get the ads, so it's just like you're sitting there.
That's true.
That's definitely.
I think she's always like, oh, just, take a break, get some water, stretch. And like, I mean, if you choose to do it, then you do it.
Yeah, that's usually what I do.
You stretch?
Well, go to the bathroom, get some
He
more,
goes
get a
and
refill
plays
on water.
Wii Fit Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ring Fit.
I
That's
was
the
just
one.
thinking about that earlier.
Yeah, haven't played it since
we moved.
Since we moved. But we have all hardwood here. So at the apartment we had carpeting pretty much everywhere. So like it wasn't as difficult to do it.
Mm.
Well, we haven't been talking about hockey for a little bit, but I think that's okay. Everybody knows we'll get back to the hockey eventually. It's in the title of the show, guys. Jeez. How we doing? Oh, we're doing pretty good on time. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're the ones that... Well, it's past Bree's bedtime.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Me too. Huh? Oh.
Normally I let Brendan decide when he wants to be done.
How long have you guys been talking without me for? Let's just quickly touch on the Sheldon Keefe extension. Just because it's Toronto and you got to talk about Toronto apparently. But so despite what some people initially thought when Brad Treliving came in as the new general manager for the Leafs, people were gonna, were thinking that they were gonna clean house more or less. Dubas was gone, and I think they let maybe a couple other guys go. But yeah, Brendan Shanahan, president, and Treliving both sort of felt that he was still a good fit and gets the most out of the team. Obviously, they only had the one playoff win last year, but their regular seasons have been really good. They had 111 points last year, and I'm personally
playoff series win.
Yeah, playoff series win. Thanks. And I'm projecting them to be the President's Trophy winners this coming season. I think I'm not alone in that. They look like they're going to be super stacked. Obviously, they've got like $94 million or something to the cap right now. They just signed another guy, actually. They just signed Benoit from Anaheim to a league minimum deal, which is like, I don't know where they're getting the money for this. Like, they're going to have to make moves before the season starts, or like roster like 11 and 6 or 12 and 5 or something like that.
Just be all the cap they cleared up from putting Murray on IR.
Yeah, even with Murray on IR and Jake Muzzin on IR, like I think they're still like 3 or 4 million over the cap, or maybe even closer to 5 at this point. So doesn't seem like there's any plans for them to trade away like any the pieces that have been there for a little bit. So I don't know what the heck they're gonna do, but it's Toronto. I'm sure they'll figure it out and do whatever it takes to roster a competitive team.
Yeah, and going back to the Sheldon Keefe thing, I guess normally the GM is like they choose the coach, and I mean it was especially true with Toronto. It seemed like it was Kyle Dubas' guy, but I guess once he left and Sheldon Keefe didn't like immediately get fired, I was like, I guess he's staying, so it's not too surprising to extend him. But I mean, like I said, typically once the GM goes, the coach goes too. So it was initially surprising for him to hang around, especially, I mean, everyone in Toronto expects more from the team, so that's normally when you make a coaching change.
Yeah.
But I mean, just because he's extended doesn't mean he doesn't get fired next year. Like, he's not safe, or like, I don't know if he's on the hot seat because he just got extended, but like his seat's definitely still warm.
They were still paying Babcock up until a couple days. Like Columbus was just waiting for his contract to be paid out so they could sign him. So yeah, that's definitely possible. Like if they go out in the first round again this year, and then maybe next year they have a similar situation, or they miss the playoffs. They probably won't do that, but like if they just have like a couple of years of no success again, I could definitely see him getting the boot. But I think,
well, I guess he wouldn't get fired at that point. 2 years from now, his contract's over. It's only till 2025, 26, right?
So it's a 2 year or a 3 year contract, because 23, 24, 24, 25, 20.
Oh yeah, you're right.
25,
3 years.
26. So yeah, but I think the players that have been there for a while like respect him as a coach, and it seems like like he's a good voice of reason for the most part. Although I think sometimes, after like bad losses, I've heard like he, doesn't always inspire the most confidence. But I think that's gonna be with like any coach that's disappointed in how their team performed, and then especially in a playoff series.
And I mean, there's also some coaches that like lose the room after a few years. Like, I don't know, I forget who specifically, but there's some coaches that get really good like success in the first year or two, and then it just goes downhill. It's like they peak in the first year or two, and then I guess everyone gets sick of them, and then
DeBoer.
they move on and repeat.
DeBoer is a good example. Like,
I'm gonna say maybe
he
like
goes on deep runs like the first year pretty much, and then seems like after a couple of years he sort of loses the room, or it doesn't seem to work out anymore. He never actually wins. He goes to the final, or he goes to the conference finals, and then it doesn't happen. But we'll
I
see.
think Laviolette's one of them too.
Oh yeah, Laviolette. Yep. Which I mean, the league just continues to recycle the same guys more or less.
Same with GMs and just the league in general too.
Anaheim did hire I think his name's Cronin, who was the Colorado Eagles head coach. So that's good to at least see like somebody who hasn't coached in the NHL yet get a promotion like that. And there's been a couple other instances like that, like Derek Lalonde going from assistant coach with Tampa to the head coach in Detroit. So it happens, but usually it's just which retired coach can we drag out to give it one more go. Any thoughts on that, Bree?
Not many.
Yeah.
Taking it all in.
Bree's still pretty hands off in terms of the league, so just here for fun and more support today. Yeah.
I like learning, but the information does not stick.
There's a lot, especially with me. Like,
yeah,
like I know a lot, so I mean, we've already seen this episode that I can go on for probably longer than I'm supposed to, but it's my show, so
yeah.
Brad loves hockey.
Yeah, not you love hockey,
but if you do, it's a plus.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
You could have finished it right there. You literally said thanks for tuning in, but you like faded out as you said it.
Oh, I still could.
You could have closed it right there.
I still could.
I gave you that segue.
Is there anything left?
Oh, there's always stuff left.
You know what? We'll save it for next time. We always need stuff for next time.
We're never going to talk about the QMJHL or Jonathan Toews.
Well, we talked about fighting a little bit, but
we did. This one's been on here forever, and the Toews one's been on here for 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
I guess there's not really that. There's like the non-important ones where like if we don't feel like talk or don't have things to talk about.
Like I don't know if you have any strong opinions on the QMJHL banning fighting.
No. And like at this point, who cares about our opinion on Toews' announcement that he announced 2 weeks ago?
What is QMJ?
QMJHL, it's the Quebec Minor Junior Hockey League.
Okay.
It's like another one of the prospect like development leagues, like the Ontario Hockey League and the American Hockey League and stuff like that. It's a way for younger players to still play like meaningful games and stuff like that. Get developed.
We also have things like the Hagelin news, where if we don't talk about it this week, there's no point talking about it next week.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk about it, we can. If not, it's like, he retired.
I just sort of threw it on there. I didn't really have a lot to say about it other than it's always, unfortunate when a player retires prior to, when they felt like their mind or their body could still go. Like his eye injury is causing him to retire. I mean, I think he's 35, so it's not like he's super young, but it's still.
He won a cup.
Yeah, he did. He won a couple of cups. So good on him, and all the best in retirement for Carl Hagelin. I didn't watch a ton of him, obviously, but he spent most of his time in New York and Pittsburgh and Washington, so a couple big name franchises. And
he was also a good player to have in Chell because he was really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast skater.
I don't think I ever thought of him as a fast player, but he was probably, at the stage that I was watching, like, he wasn't really at that same level, I think, for the most part.
Right.
So,
Yeah, solid career.
yeah, good to have those depth guys who are able to stick around for a long time, hopefully stay relatively healthy, like
Yeah, I'm looking at his hockey DB, and he
tons of
only
guys like
played
that.
one full season. So I mean, he had injury issues all
Mm.
his career, which is tough too.
Yeah.
But made the most of it. Like you said, won a couple cups.
Yeah, it's always hard when there's a player who has the potential and their unfortunate luck with injuries. Like we've talked, I haven't talked about it on here, but like Andre Kasha, who spent some time with the Bruins and the
Yeah.
Ducks, and then spent a little bit in Toronto and in Carolina, who's just had to deal with like concussions, and it's just not looking like he's got a roster spot on any
Yeah, I
of
was
the
rooting for
teams
him
this
when he
year.
went to Toronto. I guess. Hope for the best for those guys. Like, you just want them to be able to play.
Yeah, it's always tough to see that because you know what they could be if they were able to play or stay healthy. Pacioretty too recently has been dealing with those issues, so hopefully he plays this year for Washington, gets a full season under his belt.
Hmm.
I bet you didn't even know that he was on the Capitals.
Nope.
I
Didn't
know.
that.
I probably only know because he was on Vegas, so I sort of track those guys a little bit more. But yeah, he is. For anybody who didn't know, he is on the Capitals roster this year. I believe it's just a 1-year deal.
Was that a free agent signing?
Yeah. Yep. Because I think it was only it was an expiring deal from Vegas that was on Carolina, and then he played like 4 games or something like that before he re-injured his Achilles. I think it was, so that was tough, but worked out for Vegas. We dumped his money and Coughlin too, and brought in new guys.
The Vegas way.
That's the way. Well, they haven't done that this year really, except for Riley Smith. So pretty much gonna be the same core coming back.
Well, do you have anyone big names that contracts expire end of this year that you know of? I mean, it's basically the same crew this year. You didn't lose too many people.
Oh, you're talking about Vegas specifically.
Yeah.
Not Marchessault. I think he's got a little bit more time left. Martinez might come up. I want to say Stevenson maybe too. Although, no, didn't we re-sign him
Marchessault,
recently?
Stevenson, Carrier,
Carrier, yeah, he'll come back, I'm sure.
Dorofeyev,
Pavel Dorofeyev, yep.
Madio, Martinez, Hutton. So no crazy big names, but
I mean, we'll keep Marchessault.
yeah.
Probably, I guess I can't say for sure, but he's the face of the franchise now, so
He was getting $5 million before, or this year,
oh
last
yeah,
year.
he'll be getting a bit of a pay raise.
Probably.
How old is
I mean,
Marchessault?
He is. Does it have the age here? I'll just click for the name. 32.
32. Okay.
I mean, most teams do that. It'll be interesting because again, Vegas is very different with how they pay their players and treat them, I guess. But most teams, after they win the cup, they'll just pay out everyone. Just we won the cup, whatever. You earned the money. Here you go. And
yeah. Or
Lucci's got a big contract for the Bruins after. I think Krejci's contract was soon after that. It's yeah, I just won the cup. You earned it. Here's some money.
yeah. Or they'll let them walk, and then some other team will overpay for them.
True.
Like Goudreau and Blake Coleman and Killorn and some other guys. Kadri a little bit, but
Is Leonard going to play this year?
Unsure. My guess would be probably not, because it's very tough to come back from double hip replacement for a goalie, especially at his age. So, I mean, if he's good to go, that's gonna be kind of an issue, like money wise, for the team, because we're sort of banking on, I think, having him on the LTIR in order to be cap compliant. I still like Linhardt, but I don't know where he would necessarily fit in terms of the organizational depth chart for goalies. Like, is he still, like, if he came back, would he still be the number one guy? Like, I don't think so. I mean, he's getting number one money.
He's only 32 as well.
I guess he's actually getting paid less than Hill now, because Hill's got the 5.5 or 5.7 or whatever the heck it was.
It says 4.9.
4.9. Okay, well, so 5 basically. So he actually is. Leonard is getting paid slightly more than Hill, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll come back. As tough as it is, but that's what happens, unfortunately, with injuries and goalies, especially. It's such an important position that you really can't afford to have these injury-prone guys or just people with nagging injuries stick around for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's got some other, like, personal life things going on. Like, I think he was, like, filing for bankruptcy because something to do with, like, a snake. I can't remember exactly what it was. Like, he had to, like...
yeah. He had to, like snake oil or something.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's got some other...
Like, bought a snake farm.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because he's big into snakes and other weird, like, some, like, reptiles and stuff, so...
Those
I mean, yeah, even when he was playing, he was in the news for... Like, I mean, speaking out about mental health and all that stuff, so...
Yeah, he was one of the premier guys for talking about that on Twitter especially. So that's always good, and he was always pretty candid, which is refreshing, because a lot of hockey players are like, they really don't let you in at all, and they just sort of recycle the same sort of generalizations, which is tough.
Yeah. You guys basically have all your draft picks.
Yeah, we did not trade a first this year, which was really nice. So we have all of our firsts coming up.
Next year, well, we trade our first round, second round, and third round for next year.
Oh.
And we have a 2025 conditional pick. In the event the Bruins' 2024 first round selection is a top 10 pick, Boston can retain the pick and transfer the 2025 instead. So we're losing one of the first round picks, and then even 2025 we don't even have a second round pick either. So
you'd probably want to lose the 2024 pick, would be my guess, because I think they're projecting the 2025 class to be stronger than the 2024 one, but we're still
how much can you know with I guess 16-year-olds.
I know we're still so early out, like it's so tough to tell, but I think that's...
And like these contracts are always so complicated. So this conditional pick, so in the event the Bruins 2024 first round pick selection is a top 10 pick, Boston can retain the pick and transfer their 2025 first round pick instead. Detroit will then have the option of sending Boston's 2025 unprotected first or their own 2024 first to Ottawa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can
follow all that, Bree?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Something about picks, and I think you said a couple teams in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Detroit was in there.
That's good. Yeah, you picked that up. Yeah, I can't remember. There was some trade either in the off season or in the trade deadline that had like such a long list of like these very obscure conditions that even some of like the insiders and the reporters were like, this is a lot to break down. Like, yeah. I'm not exactly sure what the heck is going on here. I can't remember what trade it was, but
I do remember that too, though.
What's that, Eddie? You want to say goodnight? All right. Well, I guess he's calling for us to go to bed, I guess. So
get Eddie up there for the thumbnail.
Oh yeah. He's
Eddie,
probably
come on.
gonna hop up onto this thing over here.
He's
so
scratching right now. Come on, Eddie.
just a moment, folks.
Oh, he's right there. Get him.
Hey, buddy.
Grab him.
Can I pick you up?
Snatch him.
Don't sit down yet.
Oh. He flopped. There's the mascot.
Hey.
Look at the
Say
camera
hi,
for the
Eddie.
picture. All right. Thanks, everybody. I guess we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
No murdering.